This is Zombie Chickens podcast, where two heads are better than one, even if they're undead. My name is Marnay.
And my name is Megan.
And this is our seventh episode.
Seventh episode.
Jeez, we passed the 7th mark.
Yeah, damn.
Okay, so this month we are doing Movie March, entertainment.
Yes.
And we will be discussing, I personally think it's quite a lot of
Interesting topics.
not just interesting topics, I think it's quite funny and fun.
Yeah.
What's coming up in this month's podcasts. But today we are doing Guess the Outcome. So each of us have chosen 4 movies where we will give each other a synopsis and the other person need to guess the outcome of the movie.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
If that makes sense. So we each is just going to read the synopsis and then obviously reveal the answer of what actually happened.
Yes.
Yes. So I will start us off today with a movie.
Mm.
The movie's name is The Perfection.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
And this is the synopsis. In this twisty horror thriller, a once promising music prodigy reconnects with her former mentors, only to find them taken with a talented new pupil.
Okay, now I need to guess what the fuck's going on.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a thriller.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm guessing this chick is really good at whatever instrument she plays.
Yes.
And if you're in orchestra, it means that you're actually quite good.
Mm-hmm.
So, does it say what instrument she plays?
Well, not in the synopsis, but I can give you... it's not going to give it away. A cellist. She's a cellist.
Okay, so the cello. So, I know for a fact that you, especially with violins, you have 4 seats, basically. You have the first seat, which is your... how can you say? It's the... I want to say the first person.
It's like
it's the leader.
It's the leader, yeah, and it's the
and
substitute.
Obviously, the fourth chair is basically the last person.
Yeah.
And I think it's basically the same with cello and basically any of the other fields. So, new person must be sitting at the 4th one. Therefore, haunts her, wants to break her fucking fingers, so he can take that first chair.
Okay,
or kills off slowly but surely.
Kills off slowly but surely.
All the other chairs till they get to her and get to know the person as a mind fuck, and then haunts them, turn them basically mad, and break their fingers.
Yeah.
So they can't play the cello anymore. Therefore, takes the seat.
Okay. So, like the...
and maybe kills off 1 or 2 of the head of the...
company, the
orchestra. Just for the fun of it.
So you feel like it's more like Black Swan type vibes?
No, what's that movie where Jessica Alba played as the blind girl? I think she also played an instrument.
Oh, where she got the eye surgery. I can't remember the name. Can't remember the name of the movie.
I think it was called The Eye or something.
Something like that. Something like that.
Okay.
So
what's the outcome?
You're on certain aspects you're not wrong. So it starts off with this girl, the main character. She had to leave the orchestra or the whatever mental people, the school they were at. It was a school.
Why?
Because she had to take care of her terminal mother. So she had to leave to go take care of her mother. Then her mother dies and she ends up going back to the school. When she gets back to the school, she sees that there's the new woman that's taken over her position that she had.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see that she looks like she might be jealous.
Mm.
And they actually just look at each other from afar. They don't really communicate, and then in the end they do start talking. And when they start talking, you realize there's a lot of sexual tension. So they actually start having a relationship. Well, not a relationship. They're just sleeping together. And it shows that they sort of like each other. But you actually realize that both of them have the same tattoo of a musical note.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm. So as it progresses, they go out for one night. They both get really, really drunk. The next day they go on explore the place because they're in a different country at the moment. So they go and explore the place with the hangover. The main character, the one that had to leave, she ends up giving the new cellist some medication to drink because of the headache and all that stuff. And then they go on a bus. Oh, but this is also part of there's a disease currently in the storyline. So there's people that throws up this yellow vomit and they get really, really sick.
Mm.
So that is also part of the storyline. So as they go on the bus, this girl starts feeling really, really sick. And she ends up throwing up. And it's yellow. And she starts seeing maggots.
Wonderful.
So she starts seeing maggots in her vomit. And
so she's hallucinating as well.
So in the movie, it doesn't look like she's hallucinating because both of them see it. So it's not just the one girl that sees it. The old cellist, I'll refer to it because I can't remember the names. The old cellist is the one that notices the bugs first and says there's bugs and maggots in your vomit. And then the girl starts freaking out, saying, no, they're inside of her, freaking out. And then they leave the bus because they get kicked off. And the girl starts seeing, bugs crawling in her arm. She's, freaking out, what am I going to do? They're eating me, what am I going to do? And then the old cellist holds up a big butcher's knife and says, you know what you have to do. And the girl takes the knife and starts chopping off her arm.
Jesus.
So it ends up that she did actually drug her, and the medication does cause hallucinations, but it's a really roundabout way to finding out how it happened. So actually what happens is that the old cellist cares about the new one. And when she noticed her girlfriend, basically, and when she noticed that she has the tattoo, that's when things changed. And she told her, basically saying, you were in too deep, I had to get you out, I didn't know any other way. So it turns out that the mentor, the guy, so it was him and his wife that had the school. Now he was actually, basically, if you're in the first seat and you go on the stage, you have to perform perfection. And if you make a mistake, the way he punishes you is by sleeping with you. So it turns out he was actually sexually molesting all the kids that was part of this company. Anyway, so she realized that, and the tattoo means that you've reached perfection. So she realized that her girlfriend, the one she's in love with now, is into deep and she needs to get her out, because the old cellist actually went through multiple phases of therapy. She actually went through shock therapy, and she went into institute, and that's how she realized what happened to her wasn't normal, it wasn't okay, that it wasn't just the way they are. She completely was messed up from this guy. Anyway, in the end, they actually go to the school. They pretend, or the girl pretends that she doesn't know what happened. She thought it was just the girl went crazy, then she had to cut her arm off and all those things. And in the end, they actually tie him up, cut off his... I think they actually cut off his dick as well. But anyway, not just his dick, his arms and his legs. And then they make him tie him up and make him sit in a chair and then watch while they're performing on stage together. While the one is doing the one part and the other one that doesn't have the arm is... Well, the one that doesn't have the arm is doing the... What do you call it? Notes. And the one that has the arm is doing the bow.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So, a big twist.
Massive twist.
Yeah. But
Jesus.
it is... They do... Even if you watch the trailer, they portray it as the old cellist is very, very jealous. And this is a revenge plot for taking your seat, basically.
That's a very plot twist. I did not expect that.
But the whole entire movie, you still think that this girl did it out of revenge. And it's only towards the end that you realize it's not actually.
About
and
that.
Even the new cellist actually pretended that she hated the other one. And then that way they infiltrated the school together. And yeah. Crazy shit.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit. So, the one I have here. God, I hope you don't know this one. Shutter Island.
Sounds familiar, but no, I don't think I've seen it.
It's a good fucking movie. I would suggest anyone to watch it. It's really, 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 it's a good movie. It's an old movie.
Yeah.
It's from 2010. It's also like a thriller. It's a famous movie because Leonardo DiCaprio
I
plays
just
in
want to
it.
say, doesn't Leonardo DiCaprio play in it? No.
And Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've not seen it. I know of it. I just haven't seen it. Yeah.
But any case, Deputy U.S. Marshal Edward, in brackets, Teddy Daniels, who is investigating a psychiatric facility on Shutter Island after one of the patients goes missing. His partner, Chuck All, I have no fucking idea how to pronounce the surname, All, help him investigate the island. So, what do you think happened?
So it's about an asylum. What?
Psychiatric
facility. Isn't it based on the Alcatraz?
No.
No, that's not the one.
No. You're thinking about The Rock. The movie The Rock.
Am I thinking about that? Probably.
No, the movie The Rock is about Alcatraz.
Okay.
Sean Connery plays in it.
Okay, I'm so confused. I don't know why you said... And now I'm confused, and now I'm thinking of fucking... What do you call it? The psychiatric prison place where fucking Joker was kept in. I'm thinking of that. Anyway, from Batman.
Okay.
Yeah, it's... Anyway. Okay, so they went into on an island.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the convicts, or not the convicts, the psychiatric patients escape.
There's one that's escaped. So they are just investigating the one that escaped. So that's why they went to the island. But my thing is, what happened on the island? If it helps, I can tell the movie plays off in, I have to guess, about the 50s, 60s. So remember, psychiatric facilities are very, 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 very on the verge of saying that, they literally abuse the patients.
So obviously there was some experiments that happened there, and the guy that actually not escape, he actually died in one of the experiments to see if they can cure their illness, mental illness. I'm guessing that's why he was there, or not. Maybe that's not why they were there. Maybe it was an island that it was a front so they could do experiments on people and experiment with shock therapy and see those type of things. No, that's how far I can go.
It's a bit more messed up than that.
Okay.
Not messed up. It's just more. It's more deeper than that.
Yeah.
Okay. So how it is that Teddy and Chuck arrive on the island to find that the staff is confrontational. They're not helping. They're very towards each other. They're not giving any clearance about where this person is. But the missing patient, Rachel Solando, is incarcerated for drowning her 3 children.
Okay.
So this is for the criminally insane, this place.
Okay.
And they were told that Ward C and the lighthouse is reserved for the most severely disturbed patients and is off limits.
Okay.
So there's no one at the lighthouse. It's off limits. But Ward C is for the very severe cases of the criminally insane.
Okay.
They stay on the island because of a severe storm. So they were only to go there for about a day, but there was this massive storm that hit the island and they were stranded there for a couple of days. Teddy starts to have migraines from being there. Like these massive, terrible migraines.
Okay.
And starts having disturbing dreams about his wife. Right, so they find Solando and break into Ward C, where they took to a patient from solitary confinement, and he claims they are doing experiments on patients. And he also claims that everyone is in on it.
Okay.
That's all he's saying. They're all in on it. So Teddy and Chuck investigate the lighthouse. So in this instance, I don't want to give a lot away about this movie because I really like this movie. I think I've watched it like 3 times. So a lot happens between this as well. But Teddy and Chuck investigate the lighthouse. That's where Chuck sort of disappears. And again, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Teddy finds the lead psychiatrist, Crowley, waiting for him there at the lighthouse.
Crowley.
It's Crawley, but for me it just sounds like Crowley, but in any case. He explains that Teddy is Andrew Ladis. Fuck, I can't pronounce the surname. The most dangerous patient they have because he murdered his manic depressed wife. Teddy.
Okay.
After she drowned their children.
Okay, so she was the one that disappeared.
No, the thing is... Just hold on.
Okay.
Just hold on.
Okay.
Just hold on. So the past few days was just to break his conspiracy-laden insanity. Like he had this sort of persona that he was creating. Teddy persona he was creating as a patient on Shutter Island. So they thought that if everyone played, even the staff played along, even Chuck.
What would happen?
Exactly. If it would break his psychiatric madness, so to speak.
So he did not actually go to investigate.
No,
it was purely him being a patient, and they went along with this fabricated story he had.
Exactly.
Made. What?
And the migraines were from withdrawals from
the medication. What?
Plot twist.
Holy shit.
It's a good fucking movie. Like the girl that was missing.
Yeah. Was it made up? Or was it just because
I want to say in brackets, she was missing, but again, it wasn't real.
It was manifested from his trauma.
No, it was a real person, just not a patient that got missing. She was one of the nurses.
Oh.
It's a good movie.
No, but I mean... He manifested it as in to be like his wife.
The person that was missing was not his wife. It was a patient that got
No, I mean, because obviously you're not understanding what I'm saying. I mean, in his mind, he obviously because he manifested the entire story. He's the one that made it up. And they just went along with it. So clearly
yes, the Teddy persona was for him to sort of
work through what happened and what he
Exactly.
did. Okay.
Exactly. It's a really, 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 really good movie because it at some stage in the movie you don't really know, is this real? Is this not real? Because just watch it. I know you know the plot twist in the end, but it's a really good movie because literally in the middle you honestly don't know what the fuck is going on.
Well, obviously now I know what's going on, but
yeah, but it's a really good movie.
I've always seen it everywhere, and I was like, should I watch it? Should I not?
It's a really good movie.
Okay.
Ben Kingsley plays in it. He plays as
Chuck.
Crawley.
Crawley. Oh, okay. Okay.
No, Mark Ruffalo is.
Chuck. Okay, that is so. And they even gave him like clothing to wear.
Yep.
And what the fuck?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. That's and they okay.
Go watch the movie.
I'll go watch the movie. That's very, very interesting. Cool. Okay, my next movie is called His House.
Okay.
So, this is the synopsis. As a young couple from war-torn South Sudan seeks asylum and a fresh new start in England, they are tormented by a sinister force living in their new house. Or new home.
I don't know why, but for some reason I'm thinking of, you know that one episode of Supernatural about the two kids living in the walls. Jesus, that was fucking scary.
Oh yeah, where they put the salt down and
and
then stepped over. Fuck, that moment, my heart dropped. Oh god, yeah.
Okay, so it's after the war, Second World War.
No,
it's the first one.
No, it's war-torn South Sudan.
Sudan. Okay,
So
that place is not good.
Yeah, so they just fled from their country to England, trying to get asylum and a fresh start. And they're basically living in sort of government housing.
Yes.
It's housing that a company gave to refugees. Yeah.
Okay.
It is a chilling horror. That's the genre, by the way. Just so to make it not easier, just to give you a bit more insight.
It's difficult to actually sort of decipher because is
Yeah.
it that someone sort of got into their suitcases and went with them and then terrorized them?
So I will tell you it is supernatural.
Okay, because we are talking about the African nation, and we all know that a lot of African nations, like we've talked before, I think in one of our previous episodes about the Tokolosi.
Yeah.
And the movie Tokolosi, I still need to watch it. Okay, so it's something in the lines of...
It is supernatural.
So it's an African supernatural story, in a sense.
In a sense. It is very... aesthetic. Is that the word I can use? It's very... It is very reminiscent of that type of...
Is it because that they are not... because a lot of African countries believe that if you do not... Your ancestors, if you do not... appease them, pay respects, that all evil shall go onto you, and therefore them being in the Western country, going into Western society, changing their beliefs, that they are tormented with a spirit, or is it that there's a horrendous spirit in the house of a person that died that hated black people, or...
There is something in the house. And your assumption of it being like supernatural is correct. It is inside walls.
Oh, Jesus. I'm getting goosebumps again.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of that boy and girl in the house. No, that's my thing, though. I can watch horror movies by all means. But if it's shit like that, where it's actual fucking people living in the fucking walls, Jesus Christ, I can't. But that's supernatural. It's fine. I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah,
So
but
it's fine.
weirdly not off topic, but have you seen those videos of the people living like inside their house, and then, well, at night when the people go to bed, the homeless person actually comes out and goes,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
That freaks
Yeah.
the fuck out of me.
Yeah. I've listened to way too many podcasts.
Yeah. I've
Mm-mm.
listened to way too many scary stories, and my paranoia is just off the charts.
Okay, so it's definitely supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
So is it to do about some ritualistic person that stayed in the house beforehand, killing people, died, and therefore, or tortured people, and therefore are tormenting them?
Is that your... don't ask me. I need your answer.
Okay, so I'm guessing.
Yes.
I'm guessing with my very imaginational mind.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be that something happened in the house in order for the spirit or ghost or poltergeist, whichever you want to call it. I know there's differences if you want to go in supernatural world. So my guess is that there was probably someone in the house that tormented and killed people. And one of those spirits must have stayed in the house with that torment. And then, therefore, does the torment themselves.
Okay. That's a good...
Or, again, I'm going with the ancestor theory that they... coming from Sudan, not appeasing their ancestors, therefore they are given this tokolosi of some sort.
Okay.
Or someone died and they fucking shoved the body in the wall, and therefore the person is in the walls.
Okay. Go. Are you done with your theories?
I'm done with my theories.
Yeah. So not any one of those.
Jesus.
It is actually not to do with the house itself. It is to do with them.
Okay.
So it is something that follows them.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts off with them fleeing. You can see them like fleeing. The husband grabbing their child, them getting on the bus. So they all flee by going into a bus and then going to a ship.
Mm-hmm.
And as the ship goes across to America, across to England, there's really, really rough waters. Like, the entire ship, most of the people on the ship died.
Jesus.
They were some of the survivors. Their child died as well.
So the child is the one that follows them.
So it is not just one singular person inside the house. So that you see that's happened. They're busy doing an interview with people in England to say if they can get asylum or not. And they give them housing. It's very sinister. The entire movie, the feeling of the movie is very sinister. You'll see like no one talks to them. People just look at them, and you can see they try to fit in with the new society, inside the society, with them being from a different country and different cultures. They try to fit in with the British culture. And the woman is the one that first starts seeing something. So she'll sit, and then there's a ball that rolls to her from the one room. A ball that comes on the ground. And then there's a hole in the wall. Or no, I think she hears something in the wall, and then she breaks the wall. And then she sees the eye inside the wall. And then everywhere she breaks the wall, she tries to look for this person. They do see their child as well. And they see other people as well. It's not just one person. But from the people that they see, you sort of realize it is probably people from where they're from and the people that were on the ship with them.
Okay.
So the story goes along. They're sort of going mad. They're basically losing their minds. And it ends up being that they feel guilty and that's the why they see the spirits of the people that died on the ship, because they feel that they're good people and they didn't do anything to deserve this. But you flash back to the war and realize that they don't have children.
Ah.
And they were running to the bus. The woman gets on the bus and they tell the husband, "You're not allowed to get on the bus." The husband sees a mother with her child, grabs the child and says, "This is our child, that's my wife, I need to go to her." They end up going on the bus. The people let them on. And then the girl actually ends up dying in the water. And they feel guilty for taking this child away from her mother, and then the child ends up dying.
Mm.
So it's the guilt that basically
renders
all the spirits of the ship that died haunts them, basically. Yeah.
That's an interesting story. I don't know why, but when you said Sudan, there's this is a little bit off topic. Very famous photograph of a Sudan child.
Oh, I remember it, yeah.
With a vulture.
Yeah.
And that's one horrible photograph. It's literally, it's a small child, literally in a fetal position with a vulture only a few feet away, literally waiting for the child to die. Now, there's a lot of controversy behind that image, and the guy that took it, the photographer, he won, and I think it's New York Photography Award, and afterwards, I think not long after, he committed suicide. I don't know why, but every time I hear about Sudan, I keep thinking about that horrible
image,
photograph. But anyway, next one. Okay, so this one is called The Handmaiden. It's a 2016 film. Also very, I want to say it's some sort of erotic film.
It's Asian, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
And it's a good movie. And it plays off, I think, just after the Second World War as well. So it's like a Korean/Japanese film.
Okay.
Very, very good film. But the synopsis is, a woman is hired, I want to say here, a pickpocket woman, because that's going to make it a little bit, not really, but a pickpocketer is hired as a handmaiden to a Japanese heiress. But secretly she is involved in a plot to defraud her. To defraud the heiress.
Oh. Well, I have seen scenes of this movie. So
yeah, go for it.
That is going to help me. I do know that they get in a sexual relationship. But that's about it. That's all I know. Okay, so...
The problem about this movie is that you need to focus on the movie constantly, because there's things that happen, and there's like 3 parts in the movie.
Yeah.
Stuff happen, and then you think you know what's going to happen, and then you realize, fuck, no, this is not what I'm thinking. But in any case, yeah.
I would think. Okay. So obviously they go into a sexual relationship. And they make you think she's going to use that to go against the heiress. Maybe. But probably not. I don't know. Maybe she's actually the heiress, and she was dethroned. She says she's a pickpocket, and that's supposed to play an impact in the story.
Not really. It's just to say that she's from poverty, you know?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant she's like sleight of hand and can do some...
not really. Not that I can recall specifically, but...
Usually in poverty. Okay. I'm going to say that she is actually supposed to be the heiress. And something happened, and she ended up in poverty, and now she is trying to get the throne back.
Quite interesting. Is that your answer?
Yeah.
Okay, well, like I said, there's 3 parts in the story, so hold on to your hat. So, okay. So this is Japanese occupied Korea as well, because Japan took over quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
A con man operating under the name of Count Fujiwara plans to seduce a Japanese heiress named Lady Hideko. Then he wants to marry her, committed to asylum in order to steal her inheritance.
Okay.
So he hires this pickpocket named Sukhi to become Hideko's maid and encourage Hideko to marry him. So it's basically her being in there saying, listen, I think you should marry him. He's a count, he has money, he has influence, blah, blah, blah.
And then they end up falling in love.
Hold on to your hat.
Okay.
Now, Hideko lives with her uncle Kozuki, a Korean man who helped the Japanese take over his country in exchange for a gold mine.
Okay.
Kozuki then uses his wealth to feed his obsession with rare books, selling forgeries to further accumulate money and books. But the thing is, they don't say here, it's erotica books. Normal books, some of them, but it's mainly erotica.
Okay.
Suki's main job is to help Hideko prepare to read for Sozuku's guests. So what he does is he has these guests coming over in an attempt to sell the book, and she would read.
Okay.
Yes. These erotic, graphic novel books. Believe me, they're fucking graphic, and I'm the one that studied art. And returning frustrated from a reading, Hideko demands Suki to sleep next to her. The two ends up making love under the pretext of preparing Hideko for her married life with the Count.
Okay.
So Suki begins expressing reluctance about the plan, but then Hideko herself suggests she loves someone other than the Count. Suki insists on the marriage. Hideko slaps her and violently throws her from the room. But then Kozuki leaves on business for a week. Hideko and Fujiwara elope. After cashing out Hideko's inheritance, it is revealed that Hideko's naivety? Yes, was part of the con. She and Fujiwara double-crossed Suki and convinced the asylum that she is the countess to have her committed to Hideko's instead.
Shit.
Plot twist. But there's another plot twist, so hold on to your hat. So then it flashes back, where it shows that Hideko's reading practice was in fact Kozuki teaching her to erotically read sadistic pornography since she was 5 years old. It's fucking sad, actually.
What?
The flashbacks show a regime of psychological and physical abuse that eventually degrades the sanity of Hideko's aunt, who is eventually found hanged from a tree in the yard.
Okay.
So her aunt commits suicide because she can't fucking handle it.
What?
And Hideko takes over as the reader for the auctions. So first it was her aunt, and her aunt couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah.
And then her aunt committed suicide, so Hideko is then therefore the new reader.
Yeah.
And then when Hideko questions the description of a hanging in a book she has to read, Kozuku tells her that he murdered her aunt using torture devices in the basement after she attempts to run away. So he basically just makes her scared of this basement.
Oh, okay.
That he murdered her aunt, but her aunt
committed suicide.
committed suicide.
Okay.
In the more recent past, the Count realizes seducing Hideko would be impossible and instead includes her in the plan to elope and then split the inheritance. When Hideko expresses her fear of her uncle, the Count promises her a vial of fast-acting poison as a wedding present so that she can never be taken to the basement. Also, it's a smart fucking plan because then you can take all the money. Anyway, Hideko demands that Count find her a girl to hire as a maid to commit to asylum in Hideko's place. While being instructed by the Count, who takes advantage of Suki's illiteracy, Hideko unexpectedly falls in love with her. Hideko tries to confess her love, but when Suki insists the marriage go on, Hideko throws her from a room and tries to hang herself. Suki saves her and both admit to their plots. Hideko helps Suki write a letter to her family and say she has teamed up with Hideko and to hatch a plot to get Hideko and Suki away from the men who have been manipulating them. Hideko shows Suki the book she was forced to read, and Suki begins destroying the library. It's like old manuscripts, so its expensive manuscripts. But Hideko calls Suki her savior and joins in destroying her uncle's collection. So that's the second part.
Okay, and there's another part.
Yeah. Suki's friend Boksoon sets a fire in the asylum and poses as a firefighter to rescue Suki. Hideko poisons Fujiwara's wine, causing him to pass out while she takes the money and leaves. The women reunite and flee together, disguised Hideko as a man to avoid detection.
Okay.
Kozuki captures Fujiwara upon receiving a letter from Hideko detailing Fujiwara's deception. He tortures Fujiwara in his cellar with his collection of antique bookmaking tools and pressing him for sexual details about his niece. Fujiwara makes up a story about their wedding night, but the flashback shows that he watched Hideko masturbate before cutting a hand on a knife to stain his sheets, refusing to consummate the marriage. When Kozuki presses for more details, Fujiwara convinces him to give him more of his cigarettes. After smoking, a disgusted Fujiwara refuses to give further details. But in any case, it's just at the very end, they two eloped and
ended up together.
Yeah. It's a weird story. I mean, it's when you first watch it, it's like, okay. And then you watch it, basically the second part's like, oh.
It sounds confusing.
You need to literally concentrate the whole movie.
Yeah.
Literally.
And my attention span is not that good.
You literally need to focus. Because, like, wait, what? But in any case, that's that one.
Okay, my next one is called The Call. And it's a psychological thriller.
Ooh, I like those.
Mm-hmm. Connected by phone in the same home but 20 years apart, a serial killer puts another woman's past and life on the line to change her own fate. So basically they're connected by a phone. It's a house phone that no one uses anymore. And
it's an old movie, isn't it?
No. Newer movie.
When did it come out?
I think actually last year.
Oh.
It's a Korean movie.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different movie.
You're thinking of The Call about the girl that was a babysitter, and then there's a murderer, and then he ends up trying to break into the house, and
Yes, but it's also a horror movie, I think.
That's the horror movie. It's a thriller.
With the teeth, all the eyes, that sort of one.
What?
I can't remember. Or is that something else?
I have no idea. But this one is a Korean movie.
Okay.
And I think it came out last year, if not the beginning. No, it came out last year. So they're basically connected by this phone. But they're 20 years apart. So the one is in the future and the one is in the past. But they live in the same house and they can communicate through a phone. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm actually stumped. I don't even know where to start. I mean, okay, so they live 20 years apart in the house with a phone. Mm-hmm. So is it that she basically, the phone rings and she answers and there's this guy that keeps talking to her?
No, so it's two females.
Oh, two females?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, my brain is working now.
Okay.
So, the one that's 20 years in the past is probably the one that died from the murderer that killed her in the house. Therefore, she's stuck in the house with the phone. So, she contacts the girl 20 years in the future or by chance in the future, about this killer that killed her to get revenge on
the killer.
On her murderer.
Or murderer. Okay.
Because he's still at large.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's either a spouse or a spouse.
A spouse. Or a spouse.
Or a spouse. Because most of the time it's the spouse in any case. Because he's at large. He probably made her death either look like suicide or a robbery gone bad. That's my guess.
Okay. That's a good guess. Could be actually a really good movie, but no, it's not this one. So it happens where the one girl in the future, she is busy in renovating this old house, her mom's old house, and her mom is terminally ill. So that's why she's back in her hometown. And she's busy doing things on the wall, and then suddenly the phone rings. And she picks it up, and she talks to a girl, saying to her that you need to call, I think she said call the police, I can't remember, but she's basically saying she's in trouble. Her aunt is trying to kill her, and she's like, her aunt is abusing her, can you help me? And then throughout this phone calls and things, the girl is like the whole time, I can't, like, how am I meant to help you? And the girl, and through all this communication, they found out that they're in the same house.
Just 20 years apart.
And they're very similar in age as well. I think they're actually the same age, which is in their 20s. And so you see and you go back between the girl in the past and the girl in the future the whole time. So you can see in the girl in the past that she is getting abused by her aunt. And her aunt is very religious and she's basically saying this, trying to get a demon out of the girl in the past. And she gets abused and locked in her room and all those things. Her aunt kills her in the past. And the girl in the future finds out when she dies and tells her, this is when you're going to die. Your aunt is going to do something. Be careful. And she ends up surviving. She ends up killing her aunt. And
the girl in the future.
The girl in the past ends up killing her aunt because she knew it was coming. So she ends up killing her aunt. They go on, they become friends, they actually talk to each other. The girl in the past sees the girl from the future and her mother and dad come to visit the house. And she says this is, I can see you as a child, blah, blah, blah. And that was actually the day her dad died. And she wanted her dad back. So the girl ends up saving her dad. And the future changes. And her dad is alive, her mom isn't sick. They're all very happy, and that's when she actually starts like living her life, and she's not showing up and to the phone calls. And the girl in the past starts getting angry and saying, you're leaving me. And that's when she tells, and then they found out that she killed her aunt. The girl in the future found out that the girl in the past killed her aunt. And the girl in the past tells her, the police comes to visit her house. And the girl in the past tells the girl in the future, you better save me, because I'm the one that saved your dad. I can easily make it the future, whatever, change the future. Because it ended up that they were coming to see the house again. But it's only going to be her, the girl from the future, and her dad that's coming to see the house. So she's basically threatening her and saying, I can kill your dad again. The police is after me. Tell me what evidence they got to put me behind bars. And so she ends up helping the girl. And that obviously changes the future again. But it ends up basically that she feels betrayed by the girl, because I think the girl from the future tried to get the girl from the past arrested, and she kidnaps her as a girl, and it's a whole shit show. So it's basically like the whole threatening thing. Then they end up being, the girl from the past ends up surviving to the future, and they end up in the same house, and they end up fighting in person. And she kills the girl in the past. Blah, 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 blah. She moves on. She goes to, and her dad is dead again. Yeah, her dad is dead again. She and her mother goes to her dad's grave. This is the last scene. She and her mother goes to her dad's grave. She ended up killing the girl from the past. But as she's walking away, you flash back and you see the girl from the past got a phone call from herself in the future while she was still alive and saying, this girl is coming to kill me, blah, 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 blah. So you can actually see as she's walking how her mom is disappearing next to her, so the future is changed. And that's how the movie ends.
That's cool.
So I explained it very confusing because it was
no, but I got it. But it's again the whole time
jump, and it's so yeah. So anyway, in the end, basically, you can see that she called herself and warned herself. So she changed the future again.
That's a very interesting movie.
She definitely survived. Yeah, crazy.
Okay, well, the one I have here, I have to warn you, it's fucked up. Think about fucked up and then multiply it with 3.
Okay.
This movie is called Flowers in the Attic.
I've seen it.
Jesus!
I've seen the rest as well. It's not more than one movie.
Yeah, there's more than one. But this one is where the fucked upness sort of starts.
Yeah. Where it starts and then it just progresses from there. Have you seen the other ones?
Yes, I don't think I've watched... What was the last one called? It's Flowers in the Attic, Petals in the Wind. And then there's the third one. I think I've watched all 3.
I've watched all 3 as well.
Okay, then should we explain then what the movie is
yes,
about? Since we know what this movie is about. So it plays off in the 50s. The Dollenganger family lives in this idyllic life in Pennsylvania, and it's a father with 4 children. They have an older son, an older daughter, and then the twins. And the father dies. So the wife sits with all the debts, and because they didn't expect him to die so suddenly, because he died in a car crash, he didn't make any means to leave them any money. So they had the mortgage, and it was just, she literally sat with a shitload of debt.
Yeah.
And without knowing what else to do, she was forced to move back to her parents, whom actually disinherited her.
Yeah.
The mother. The reason behind the disinheritance is because her husband is in fact actually her uncle. Now the thing is, they were very similar in age because her father's youngest brother basically grew up with his kids. So they were very similar in age, and I think her husband / uncle was actually her half uncle.
Yeah.
/ husband.
/ husband. Yeah.
And they saw it as incest, which it actually is.
It is. If you go by the technical term, it is incest.
It is incest. That's why she was disinherited, because it's of the incest.
Incest.
Not incense.
Not incense. You know that smell. I can't take it. You have to get out of my house.
Anyway, the only reason why her father would take her back is if she never had any kids with her husband.
Yeah.
So the story goes is that the grandmother knows about the kids. Definitely. She definitely knows about the kids. They are kept in a room that leads up to an attic. So they are allowed to sleep in the room, but in the morning they need to go into the attic and stay there the whole fucking day, not making a sound, while the maids clean the room, clean the area.
And there is supposed to be no trace of them inside their room.
Exactly.
They have to remove every single trace of them from the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the maids were not allowed to go to the attic. It was forbidden to them to go to the attic. And the story progresses as the 2 older kids try to make things better for them by making the secret garden basically in the attic with paper, and like these paper flowers. Their mother only visits them every so often, whenever she can, and they would constantly ask, but when can they, go down, and when are they allowed to go outside?
Yeah.
And she keeps saying that, after her father dies, she will inherit everything, and, they will be a happy family again. And the mother visits less and less, and their grandmother sort of verbally abused them, saying, they were created from sin. They are... What was the word she used? She used a very specific word.
Didn't she say spawn of the
devil?
She said that.
Quite often she said that. Even though, the kids were very well-mannered. I mean...
Yeah, and the thing is, they did not know.
No, they didn't know.
They
grew up with a very loving mother and father.
Yeah.
They didn't know the whole backstory behind this whole incest story.
So they didn't know why they were being treated this way.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the grandmother did tell them.
Eventually, she did, yeah.
She did tell them, because I think the oldest daughter asked, why do you keep calling us?
Yeah, she told the oldest daughter and the older son. Yeah.
And this one time, their mother, on Christmas Eve, their mother let them down to like a secret... I want to say...
it was underneath a bar table thing.
Oh, I don't know why I keep thinking they sat on the stairs.
They did, but they moved. So they went from that one area. So they went to a couple of different areas.
Because there was a Christmas ball at the house.
Yeah.
Just for them to get out a little bit. But long story short, what basically happens is that the brother and the sister start having feelings for each other, because I mean they don't see anyone else. They are literally within and they're also reaching puberty as well.
I just wanted to say they went into the attic before they even hit puberty, so they have these sexual feelings that they've never had before. The girl is developing breasts so yeah.
Yes, and also, they was the sort of surrogate parents for the twins as well.
So they basically felt like their own little family, them being the husband and the wife, and then the kids being their kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not just that, but the twins, they were very small as well. I mean, they were very malnutritioned.
Yeah.
They found out, I think, a while after... like a year after they've been there, that the grandfather already died.
Yeah.
But they're still in the attic.
The mom just enjoyed her life the way it was.
Exactly. And she got a new husband. And...
they were in the attic for years and years. They actually had to teach the boy and the twins how to read and write. Yes. And they had to basically... give them schooling and all those things,
And then this one time, their mother visited with donuts, laced with rat poison.
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember. I think the grandmother brought the donut, saying your mom brought a present.
Yeah.
And I think the grandmother said something.
The grandmother
to the older kids about something in the lines of "do not eat the donuts." I think that's the nicest thing she ever done to them.
Yeah.
But the youngest twin, he ate it.
Yeah.
And he got very sick. He died.
Yeah.
And I think that's basically where the movie stopped. Or they escaped.
They escaped. Yeah.
They hatched the plan to escape.
To escape, yeah.
That's basically where it ends.
That's basically where it ends.
Oh yeah, here's the last bit of the movie. At the train station, Chris reveals that he discovered Corinne, that's their mother, inheritance is conditioned about her having no children from her first marriage, and she was poisoning them to secure her father's wealth.
Yeah, so they found that out at the end. Yeah, he confronted them, their mother, because he went to her bedroom, I think, as they were escaping.
Yeah, but also there was a story, there was a part as well where the girl sneaked off the one night to go to her mom's room where she found her mom's new husband.
Yes.
And he raped her. Or they had sex or something in the line. Because remember in the second movie, she was pregnant, or she found out she was pregnant.
No, but
I can't remember.
no, I think that's where. I don't think he raped her. I think that's where she kissed him. He was asleep on the bed, and I think she kissed him. I think that was one of her first sexual desires, basically. But no, it wasn't. She did get another child in the second movie, but it wasn't with another man. She started dating.
But didn't she have a child with him as well?
Yeah, so basically she started dating. She went, we're talking about the second movie now. She went to dance because she loves dancing. So she went to go do ballet, and then she started seeing a guy there. They started dating. He died in a car crash. And then she started seeing her brother because they said they're going to move somewhere. No one is going to know that they're brother and sister because they love each other, because he was actually engaged to someone else.
And he was a doctor.
And then they found out that she's pregnant. And then that is basically that was how it continues.
It's a fucked up story.
And their sister also committed suicide. Yeah. So it's a fucked up movie. It was really a fucked up movie. Yeah, they actually didn't have children together.
No.
They adopted a girl, and then she had a child with the other guy. Yeah.
Her mom's husband, wasn't it? I still think she slept with her mom's husband to get back at her mom, and she got pregnant from that. I don't know why I keep thinking about that.
Maybe she did do that. But maybe that's part of the second movie.
I think that's that was the first child. Because remember, the first child was the difficult one. The younger one.
Oh, right. The younger one there was 3 children, not 2 children. There's 3 children. Yeah, you're correct. So the one at the end of the second movie, she sleeps in the second movie. She sleeps with her. I'm thinking of the third movie. In the second movie, she sleeps with her mom's husband
to get back at the
and
mom.
To get back at the mom, and that's when she gets pregnant.
She actually went to her mom and say, "Listen, I slept with your husband, and the funny thing is, I'm pregnant."
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
To get back at the mom.
But yeah, and then she got pregnant. That's because that's an evil child, because he was freaking insane. Anyway, yeah, now I remember. Yeah, thank you for... She did sleep with him, but not when she kissed him in the first movie, but she did while he was sleeping. But she didn't do it. They only slept together because she went to his office, because I think he was a lawyer or something.
I can't remember.
And then she went to go visit him at his work, and that's when they had an affair, but he did not know that she was his wife's daughter. Fucked up. Yeah, and then she ended up pregnant. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Okay. My next movie is called Us.
I heard of it.
Have you heard of it? Have you seen it?
No.
Do you know what happens in it?
No.
Okay. So.
Is it good?
It's good. Adelaide Wilson and her family are attacked by mysterious figures dressed in red. Upon closer inspection, the Wilsons realize that the intruders are exact lookalikes of them.
Like doppelgangers. I like the word doppelganger.
What happens?
Okay, so is it in the sense that these doppelgangers want to take over their lives? Because that's the only thing I can think about the doppelganger.
Basically.
So they torture them, haunt them, so they can take over their lives.
Basically.
Or literally just put their shoes on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Literally speaking.
In a sense, yeah. What is that your...
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you are correct in a way. So it starts off with in 1986. So it starts in that time where Adelaide goes with her family to this carnival in Santa Cruz. I think it's Santa Cruz. Santa Monica.
It's in America.
It's in America, so Santa Monica. And then she goes with the family to this carnival. So that has like the haunted houses. And so she goes with the family there. She ends up being lured into one of those mirror maze rooms
those
type
weird
of
mirror
things.
rooms.
Yeah. And she encounters someone that looks exactly like her.
Mm-hmm.
She ends up being saved, blah, blah, blah. Everyone doesn't believe her. She ends up being traumatized. She doesn't talk. She went through a lot of therapy, and then eventually she got better. Then you flash forward to the future where she's with her husband and her kids in the car on their way on a holiday back to Santa Monica. I think it's Santa Monica. What the fuck ever. They're going back to go on their holiday.
Mm.
The whole time Adelaide is saying she's feeling very uncomfortable. She's feeling weird. Something isn't right.
Mm.
She feels weird being back there. And her husband actually knows of what happened when she was younger, and she's told her. And she's saying, basically convincing her husband, let's go back home. I don't want to be here anymore. Let's go back home. Something feels weird. And as she's convincing him, look, this is what I feel like this person is trying to take over my life, my doppelganger.
Yeah.
And that's when the husband agrees, okay, we can go. And that same night, I can't remember, I think the doorbell rang, something happened where they realized there's people outside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they realize it's their doppelgangers. So the main character of the doppelgangers is called Red, and she is the doppelganger of Adelaide. So they're busy basically attacking them, torturing them completely, like trying to take over their lives. As they're trying to escape, they go to the friend's house that lives next door, realizing that they have been attacked by also doppelgangers that looks like them.
Oh.
So as they're trying to escape, they realize that there's doppelgangers everywhere. Everyone has a doppelganger that's the doppelgangers is attacking the people. So all happens. They fight, they get tortured, they eventually start killing them off, the doppelgangers. So they start, the people, the Adelaide and her family start surviving, and they start killing off all the doppelgangers. And then eventually Adelaide ends up back at the Santa Monica Pier where the carnival is, and she ends up going back into that room where she met her doppelganger first. And she goes down and realizes there's an entire tunnel system underneath that whole area, which is basically I think it's true that there is like a tunnel system underneath parts of America. Anyway, so she goes into the tunnel system and she's walking around and she's seeing bunnies fucking everywhere. And then she gets confronted by her doppelganger Red because, the reason why she had to go downstairs is because her son was kidnapped by Red.
Oh.
So she's trying to get her son back. And she gets her son hides, and she starts killing Red. She eventually kills Red. Then it flashes forward, she saves her son, they're back at home, and her son is very weird towards Adelaide. He's very scared of her. It flashes to, well, not it flashes, while she was killing Red, Adelaide, she looked very happy while she was doing it. So she was like very enjoying and very eager to kill her. And her son found that very scary. And then you could see she goes to him in his room and he's very scared of her. And then it flashes back to 1986. Where you see young Adelaide going into the maze, Red coming up, strangling Adelaide, dragging her downstairs, chaining her to a bedroom inside the bunker area down in the tunnels, and Red taking Adelaide's place with her family. So that is the reason why she did not speak in the beginning why she had to go through therapy and take such a long time to adjust. So what happened was they were all government experiments, clones of every person, and the only thing they had to live off of was rabbits, bunnies, and which were all also clones. And they didn't know how to talk, didn't know how to speak. They literally just mimicked what the people do up, the normal people, not the clones do. The people on normal planet, whatever. So when Adelaide was a young girl and got downstairs, she liked dancing and she was dancing. All of them realized she is different. She's gonna make us create a revolution, whatever. So they ended up creating a plot. She was also the only one that could sort of speak. She sort of said words, but not really, because obviously she hasn't spoken in like years and years. But yeah, so it turns out that she was actually the real Adelaide, and Red is the one that was actually with the family. So yeah, they were all clones, and yeah. Crazy.
What was that series with the clone Kyle XY?
Kyle XY, yeah, that was a good series.
That was a weird series.
The series, the only thing that put in my head was Mind Over Matter, because that was all it was basically how his brain capacity was so big. Firstly, because he was longer in the womb juices. But no, because it was mind over matter. You're basically controlling your mind to say, this is what I wanted to do. And that's how they did everything. Which was a really cool concept to me. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. So my next one is called Primal Fear. It's an old movie.
Primal Fear.
1996.
1996. That sounds so familiar. I've probably not seen it. But I've probably...
Richard Gere plays in it. And Norton... What's his name? He's a really good actor.
No.
Why do I keep thinking Michael Norton? It's not Michael. Jesus, Marnay, remember. Edward Norton.
No idea.
No, he's a really good actor. You would know him. He's a really, really, really good actor.
I don't know names, so...
The story goes, or the synopsis, an altar boy is accused of murdering a priest, and the truth is buried behind several layers deep.
Okay, this is like, not to assume, but it's obviously to do with sexual nature. So I'm guessing he got abused by the priest and took revenge by killing him.
Is that your
very simple explanation?
Short and sweet.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so we need to focus. Because so it starts with Martin Vale. He is a Chicago defense attorney who loves the spotlight and does everything he can to get his high-profile clients acquitted on legal technicalities.
Okay.
So that's Richard Gere. Martin Vale. And then one day he sees a news report about the arrest of Aaron Stampler. That's Edward Norton. He's a 19-year-old altar boy from Kentucky with a severe stutter who is accused of brutally murdering the beloved Archbishop Rushman. And then, so Val jumps to the chance to actually represent the Aaron pro bono. And during his meetings at the country jail, Val becomes to believe that his client is innocent. And much to the irritation of Vale's former lover, prosecutor Janet Venable. But as the trial begins, Val discovers that powerful civic leaders, including the corrupt state attorney John Sloanessy. God, why did I take the movies with all the difficult names?
I don't know. That's why I said no names, because I'm not bothered to remember.
Okay, but the corrupt state attorney John, let's call him John, recently lost millions of dollars in real estate investments due to a decision made by the Archbishop not to develop on certain church-owned lands. The Archbishop secretly, received numerous death threats as a result.
Mm-hmm.
Following a tip from a former altar boy about a videotape involving Stampler, Vale makes a search of Archbishop's apartments and finds a VH tape shot by Rushman that shows Stampler being sexually abused with another teenage altar boy and a teenage girl named Linda Forbes. So you were right.
Yeah.
And Vale is now in a dilemma. Introducing this evidence would make Stampler more sympathetic to the jury, but it would also give him a motive for the murder, which Venable has been unable to establish.
Oh.
Because you can't go for the insanity.
Yeah.
Because he had motive to kill the Archbishop. So then Vale confronts his client and accuses him of having lied to him, and Stampler breaks down, crying, and suddenly transforms into a new persona.
Yeah.
A violent psychopath who calls himself Roy. And Roy confesses to the murder of the Archbishop and threatens Vale. When this incident is over, Stampler once again becomes passive and shy and appears to have no recollection of the personality switch, which he calls lost time.
Okay. I see where this is going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Molly Orrington, the psychiatrist. Jesus!
Psychiatrist, yeah.
Psychiatrist. Examining Stampler, who witnessed the entire event, is convinced that he has a dissociative identity disorder caused by many years of abuse, because it happens.
It does, yeah. That's how most cases,
it happens. It's literally
compartmentalize. What you call it? They basically create a personality for each, for each emotion, basically.
Yes, and not just that. I mean, it literally happens when you're young, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the physical abuse, sexual abuse that he got from Archbishop Rushman. Vale doesn't want to hear this because he knows that he cannot enter an insanity plea during an opening trial. An ongoing trial. So that's something you need to bring in the beginning, not in the middle of the
trial, yeah.
So Vale slowly sets up a confrontation in court by dropping hints about the Archbishop's abusive tendencies, as well as Stampler's multiple personalities. He also has the abuse tape delivered to Venable, knowing that she will realize who sent it. Since she is under intense pressure from both John. What's his name? John.
I already forgot. That's how bad I am.
John? Yes, I remembered. John and her boss, Bud Yancey, to deliver a guilty verdict at any cost, and will use it as proof of motive. Okay. So Val puts Stampler on the witness stand and gently questions him about the sexual abuse he suffered at Rushman's hands. He also introduces evidence that John and Yancey had covered up evidence of Rushman molesting another young man. After Venable questions him about harshly during cross-examination, Stampler turns into Roy in open court, and he is subdued by courthouse marshals. He attacks her, and he says that if anyone comes near him, he will snap a neck. And then he's suddenly subdued by courthouse marshals and rushed back to his holding cell. The judge dismisses the jury in favor of a bench trial, and then finds Stampler not guilty by reason of insanity.
Okay.
So he then goes to a maximum security mental hospital. And then Venable is fired for losing the case and for allowing Rushman's crimes to be publicly exposed. Yeah, because that's a fucking thing.
Yeah.
If a priest's sexual
misconduct
deviances are exposed.
Yeah.
So Vale visits Stampler in his cell and tell him of the dismissal. And Stampler claims to have no recollection of what happened in the courthouse, having lost time again.
Yeah.
Because of Roy. However, as Vale is leaving, Stampler asks him to tell Miss Venable I hope her neck is okay. Now remember, how can he lose time
Yeah.
and remember that?
And remember that.
Mm.
Fuck.
Yeah. And then when Val confronts him, Stamper reveals that he had faked the personality disorder.
What?
Yeah. No longer stuttering, he brags about having murdered Rushman as well as his girlfriend, Linda, the other girl.
Okay.
And then when Val asks him if there was ever a Roy, Stamper replies that there never was an Aaron. So there were no one. He
What?
created all of those personalities. Stunned and disillusioned, Val walks away and leaves the courthouse as Stamper taunts him from his cell.
What?
So he killed him out of fucking killing them,
Yeah.
but he was not insane.
Fuck.
That was a good movie. That was really a good movie, I have to say.
I sort of remember it because I think I have seen it, but I don't remember it all. So as you were talking, some of the things came back to my mind, like the video, like all those things came back to my mind. I was like, oh yeah, right. And the taunting, that I remember now as well.
I remember watching the end, I'm like, fuck, plot twist.
Yeah, damn.
Well, I'm quite sad about the flowers in the attic, but oh well.
Oh well, sorry about that.
I think I should have taken my other one.
I tend to watch a lot of fucked up movies, so
Same.
when I think I saw it somewhere with the fucked up movie thing, I can't remember. And I was like, and then I went to download all of them. And that's
how you watched
how I watched that.
Flowers in the Attic.
Yeah, I did feel very weird watching it and then telling people. I didn't tell people. I don't know.
But it is a fucked up.
It's weird to explain. And like, what are you watching? Oh, it's a movie about incest.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just one generation of incest.
No, it's like 2 generations.
Yeah. So.
But the thing is, how I came to watch this. One of my colleagues, she studied psychology, and she had to watch it as part of one of the classes, and we discussed it quite a bit because we discussed the studies quite a lot because I found it very interesting.
Yeah.
And we discussed these movies quite a lot in depth because it's very, very interesting because it comes to the concept of if you were to be stuck, let's say in an attic.
That's the thing, is like that is all you know.
That's all you know, that's all you see. The same would happen.
It would happen.
There's a very interesting thing that happens. This is a little off topic. I can't remember what it's called, but it's extremely interesting. You know, when you, let's say you would have a child, but you give it off to adoption.
Yeah.
And let's say a son. And
that theory where you will end up actually
falling in love
because you feel like you have a bond, but you don't know why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a name for it.
There's a name for it. I know. Yeah.
There's a name for
it. It's basically you will always be connected.
Interesting.
And because you have that bond, that's unexplainable.
And not just that. It's not just that because you have a repulsion to the people that you've grown up with. Like, I can't even think of having a relationship with my brother because we grew up together. It's a psychological thing where you have a repulse, where you feel repulsed having any intimate relationship with any of your close family members because you live together.
Yeah.
It's sort of a we probably can call it not a backdoor, but like a stopper to incest, basically.
Yeah, basically. But also, it's going to sound weird, but you obviously also actively not actively know, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you actively choose, firstly, also to be grossed out by it, because firstly, it's fucking disgusting.
Exactly.
But you get people that doesn't have that mentality. So
it's a very difficult thing because I think it's also something that can't be explained precisely, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. But it's clearly like a big thing considering that there's so many sexual fantasies of...
But they do say that this is a problem though. That this whole thing about, people, even people donating their eggs.
Yeah. Oh,
sperm.
right.
Because eventually
Fuck.
you do want to meet your paternal or maternal parent, whoever donated the eggs or sperm.
Yeah.
There's a very interesting crime case, I can't remember the name, about a girl that was adopted.
Mm-hmm.
So she eventually found her real parents,
Yeah.
her birth parents.
Yeah.
So what happened was they were very young when they were pregnant. I think they were still in school.
Mm.
And funny enough, they ended up together.
They stayed together.
They ended up marrying, and
Okay.
they had another child.
Yeah.
So what happened is that she met her parents and she fell in love with her father, and they ended up having a relationship.
What?
And I think what happened is he got divorced with his wife and married his daughter.
What? But they didn't know they were.
No, they knew they were related.
They knew they were related.
They knew they were related. They were father and daughter.
Fuck? Okay.
Because
They
wait. I don't think they got divorced, because I'm getting confused now, because she told her sister or brother, she had a younger sibling,
Mhm.
to call me your new mommy.
What the fuck?
Yes. And I think, I can't remember the whole story, but that's part of the story. It's fucked up.
What the fuck? So, okay, she went to them with the pretense that they are her birth parents, so they knew it from the start.
They knew, because she visited them.
That's so weird.
It was a very weird story. I literally can't remember the case. I can't remember if she murdered her mother so she could be with her father. I literally can't remember.
So this is a real...
It's a real case.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, dude.
It wasn't red-handed.
Damn.
Those of you who don't know, red-handed is a very, 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 very good
True
crime
crime
podcast. Go listen to them if you don't already. But yeah, they covered it, and I can't remember the name. I can't remember when it came out.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, on that note, that is how we will end this episode. And that's a really good note to end it on. But anyway,
On incest.
on incest. So next week's episode, we will be doing
Netflix and Not So Chill.
Netflix and Not So Chill. We did steal this idea from Smosh. So I have seen a lot of YouTube videos of Smosh and stuff where they take a Netflix synopsis of the movie, and then the other person needs to guess what the movie's name is.
Oh yeah. And then if you're wrong, you need to take a shot.
Yeah, we are doing it. You take a shot. On Smosh, they usually put ice down your trousers, pants. But also, like, how are we meant to show that? Because there's no video. So
And besides, I mean, we're so bad. Our pants are gonna be wet.
yeah,
Taking shots is just so much easier.
so much easier. And also, who needs
We're
an
gonna get
excuse to
fucked
drink?
up.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that is gonna be next week's episode.
And
so stay
then-
tuned for that.
Yeah, and then remember to follow us on all our almost at Instagrams again. All of our
Social media.
social medias.
And please support us on Patreon.
Yes, you can even do the $1.50. That's enough for
Yeah, it
bread.
starts at $1.50. Please support us on Patreon. That would be much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's it.
that's it.
Cheers for ears.
Cheers for yours.